I turned 29 in 48 hours and I literally cannot believe it. I remember so vividly wanting to be 21 so bad, and now I'm 29. I have been on the internet since the internet was a thing. That means that I have a lot of documentation from a lot of different times of my life, and I recently rediscovered this video that I made at 19 where I'm talking about the 19 things that I learned in life. And so I thought on its 10-year anniversary, we would go back and we would watch the video and we would see what 19-year-old me has to say about life and kind of just react to that. I have not seen this video since I posted it 10 years ago. Just the thumbnail alone, I was like, oh my God. Before every birthday, I do get very reflective, and so having this video I think is kind of cool actually. It feels very like surreal and strange, I think, to even have a video of me from 10 years ago. I feel so far removed from 10 years ago, but we're gonna go through the video and we're gonna see what 19-year-old me has to say about life. Since it's my birthday week, I thought it'd be so fitting to knit a cake. I found this free pattern online, but this is what I have so far. It's like, I don't know if you can really see. This is like the frosting part of the cake, and this triangle is like the bottom. And right now I'm working on like the middle of the cake. So it's gonna go, I don't have my glasses on, so I can't see the screen, but I hope you can kind of see. But this is like the side of the cake. So this is the frosting, and then this is the side. The pattern also has a birthday candle, so I'll probably knit that as well. But this is what we're gonna be knitting while we watch 19-year-old Kennedy talk about the 19 things she's learned in 19 years. 19 is crazy, yo. 19, I barely even remember being 19. But yeah, we're gonna go through this and we're gonna see what 19-year-old me has to say about life. We're gonna see what we've learned since then. What do I still agree with? Is there anything that I disagree with? I think I should scoot over just a little bit so I can put the video in the frame. Right here. I'm gonna put the video right here on the screen. Okay. So this is 19 things I've learned in 19 years, told by 29-year-old me 10 years later. I don't know, why am I feeling nervous? Okay. The entire video is 3 minutes and 25 seconds. It has since been privated. Okay, let's get into it. Hey guys, this is Kennedy. And I know I haven't been on this channel in a really long time. Okay, really quick. I'm already pausing 5 seconds in. I refuse to bag on, to talk mess about my old physical appearance. That's something that I've learned as I got older. I think maybe if I would have done this video 5 years ago, I would have felt differently, or I would have been like, oh my gosh, like, oh, that's what you look like. Like, first of all, without this baddie, without this diva, the Kennedy that we all know and love, in 2026, she would not exist. And so when I look back at old pictures of myself, kind of like the oh my gosh that I feel, it's never, or at least I don't want it to be like, oh my gosh, like cringe. Like, I don't think of old me or past versions of me as cringe. It's almost just like it's been so long and I feel like I look so different, I act so different. Everything about me now is so different from this time. It almost feels like you're sure this is me for real? Like, she almost feels like a stranger, but I know everything about her, if that makes any sense. Just off the bat, I look so different now. Even just my energy and my camera presence is so different. Oh my gosh. 19-year-old me, we love her. Okay, 5 seconds in and I already paused. Let's try to watch some more. But I'm 19. Today's my birthday. And I thought I would just get on here and kind of just reflect. So here are 19 things that I have learned in my 19 years of living. Oh, and while I'm speaking, I'm gonna be baking a cake. These videos went so hard on YouTube back in the day, 10 years ago. 19 things I learned in 19 years. Where did I get this idea from? I think the first time I ever saw this kind of video was Alexa Losi. Who remembers Alexa Losi? That's how long I've been on YouTube. I remember she did one, like, I think she turned like 21 or something, and then I was like, oh my gosh, I have to make this video. And she's baking a cake in her video, like as she's explaining her thing, so that's why I'm baking a cake in mine. Okay, no more talking. Number one, there's never a perfect time to really do anything. If you want to accomplish anything in your life, you kind of just gotta leap and do it. I think it's so funny that I say there's never a right time to do anything. You have to just leap and do it, because that is literally something that I'm still struggling with to this day at 29. There will never be a right time to do anything. And as somebody who is like a chronic perfectionist to the point where like it's taking me 10 years, you know, to even start to attempt my goals or the things that I want to accomplish, I think it's really funny that 19-year-old me Like, girl, you're talking to me right now too.
Boys aren't worth losing quality friends over.
I was still closeted at 19. What do I even say to this? Boys aren't worth losing quality friends over? Well, I agree with that AF. Boys are not worth losing quality friends over. I'm not dating no boys, but that's really funny. I wonder what prompted me to say this. 19. I hadn't even dated anybody yet. God, what was I doing at 19? I was living with my super religious family. So there was no way in hell I was about to come out at 19. Who was I friends with at 19? I don't know why I said that. Did I fall out with a friend over a boy? Maybe. Boys, girls, relationships, it's not worth losing your good friends over. Okay, she got that right pretty early.
Braces completely suck, but they're so worth it in the end.
First world problems for real. Yo, braces suck. Braces do suck. I wore braces from, goodness, I wore braces for a really long time. I wore braces from like 7th or 8th grade all the way up until senior pictures in high school. So I wore braces for like 5 years. I don't know, can you tell? I don't wear my retainer anymore. I can't even find it. But yeah, braces suck. This is really funny. First world problems.
My natural hair is pretty awesome, and it'd be a shame to do anything but embrace it.
Clock it. Clock it. I will say, as I get older, I do feel more comfortable in my natural state. I think honestly, one of my favorite things about getting older is the confidence that comes with it. For me personally, just the way that I grew up, I feel like low self-esteem, low self-worth, like it's like I inherited it. That's one of the hardest things I've had to do, is just embrace who I am naturally, what I look like, you know, when I wake up in the morning. 19-year-old me, she kind of had it right. I'm not even gonna lie. 19-year-old me she got her head on straight. I have so much love and empathy for this version of me. She really had no idea what was about to happen. And 49 seconds into the video, I really feel like I'm reminded that she really just tried her best.
Become acquainted with as many people as you possibly can in class. There's nothing worse than having to do partner or group work and not knowing anyone, or being the odd one left out.
Do I agree with that? I don't disagree with that. I'm very much naturally somebody who does everything alone. I spend 99% of my time alone. So I guess in class, yeah. It's funny that I'm talking about school. This was like around the time that I got academically disqualified from my first university. So I think it's really funny that I'm talking about school. I was not locked in. I did not even give a about school at this point.
If you want something done right, you have to do it yourself.
Period. If you want something done right, you have to do it yourself. That is literally my motto to this day. Nobody's gonna execute your vision the way that you see it. Your vision, your perspective, it is unique to you. I might be a little biased. I did just mention how I do everything by myself and I prefer to be by myself. So maybe that's where this comes from. But as of right now at 29, I very strongly agree.
Put your camera and phone away at a concert. Chances are you've only ever seen this artist through your computer screen. So why would you want to see them again through your phone screen?
19-year-old Kennedy said, it's the phone. That's very true. Oh my goodness. Around this time, all the suburban girls, we was going crazy for the 1975. We was going crazy for Lana Del Rey. And so this was a time that I was going to a lot of concerts. It's really funny because me at 29 now, I literally hate going to concerts. And back at 19, babe, you know, we was in general admission, standing up for hours and hours and hours. I just think it's really funny that I bring up concerts, and I'm telling y'all to put the phone down. Yeah, even 10 years ago, the phone addictions was out of control. Put the phone down.
Not as invincible as you feel. Life is a gift and it's short.
I remember why I said this. When I recorded this, someone from my high school had passed away recently, and I was just thinking, like, how crazy is it for your life to get cut off at 19? And it was really just eye-opening to me to realize that at any moment, everything could be gone. I could be eliminated. Knowing that gives me like an extra sense of gratitude. I think even now, sometimes I'll find myself not necessarily complaining, because I don't think that complaining is always a negative thing, but I'll find myself maybe, what am I trying to say? Maybe not being as present. And I have to remind myself that all I have is the present, and that I can spend as much time, I can spend all day dreaming about the future, but who's to say that it will ever get here? The only thing that I can guarantee is that in this present moment, I am alive and I am breathing, and I can control what is going on right now. I definitely do agree with that. 10 years later, you realize the tragedy can happen really at any time. And during times when I'm not as present as I'd like to be, I think reminding myself that the future is not promised kind of helps bring you back down to earth, and it makes me want to put more energy and effort into what's going on right now instead of always planning for a future that you're not necessarily guaranteed. I agree with this, I do.
Don't know what to buy someone as a gift, buy them a gift card. You really can't go wrong.
When you don't know what to buy someone as a gift, buy them a gift card. I strongly disagree. I think gift cards are the most impersonable gifts ever. I think if you're gonna buy somebody a gift card, you might as well just not even buy them anything. The only exception is if they very explicitly say, I only want a gift card. If they're that type of person, then that's their love language. Obviously, it's not bad to give them a gift card. I think the best kind of gifts to give are handmade gifts. They're the most thoughtful gifts. You're not lining the pockets of big corporations, hopefully. And it allows you, I think, to express your creativity maybe in a way that you wouldn't have otherwise. For me specifically, I love handmade gifts because I feel like I'm able to tailor the gift more personally to the person that I'm gifting it to. The entire point of a gift, I think, is to show appreciation or show acknowledgement in some type of way. And so giving somebody a gift that reflects how you see them or reflects their energy or their personality, to me, that will always be better than going to the store and buying a gift card. So I do not agree with that. I never buy anybody gift cards, and the people close to me in my life, they know not to do that either.
I've learned that people are gonna ask me about what happened to my ear a lot, and there's really no reason to feel ashamed or self-conscious about it. It's human nature to be curious.
Okay. I said that people are going to ask me about my ear. I don't know if you guys can even see it when I record my videos. I think you can, depending on what side I record and like what angle. But I had ear surgery when I was a kid, and so I've had this giant ass scar on my ear literally for as long as I can remember. And I know in my youth for sure I was so like self-conscious about it, especially since I'd always wear my hair up and like I couldn't hide it. 10 years later, I really don't give a I hardly notice that it's there on the side of my face. Like sometimes somebody will ask me about it and I'm like, oh my gosh, like girl, I forgot. But I think that also does come with getting older. Like I mentioned, I hate how online getting older is given such a bad rep, or people speak of aging so negatively. Aging has been nothing but positive for me. I'm so much more confident. The little things, the little comments, the little remarks that would send me into a spiral. I'm like, girl, you're a hater for real. Like, have you seen me for real? You're a hater. You're a hater. You're a hater. I ain't never been hated on, by somebody who looks better than me. And I think overall, kind of just that IDGAF, this is me, you're gonna have to take it or leave it. I only would have gained it through getting older. I wonder if I was still insecure about it during this time. I can't remember. I know that I was insecure about it for a really long time. I remember in class, I wouldn't even sit in certain seats in the class because I didn't want anybody to be on the side of my face, like where my scar was, because I was like that, like embarrassed about it. So that's funny. I think it's really cute that I brought that up.
The only thing that truly makes you ugly is a bad personality. I know it's a cliche, but beauty comes in all different forms, and there really isn't one definition or example of it.
The only thing that makes you ugly is having a bad personality. I agree. I agree. If you're ugly on the inside, there's nothing that you can do on the outside to change that, babe. I think maybe the part where I'm like, beauty comes in all shapes and sizes and there's never one. I was definitely speaking to myself at this time. I don't really remember how insecure I was at 19, but I know I was pretty insecure at 19. And so I think a lot of these things that I'm bringing up and that I'm saying, these were things that I needed to hear myself.
Keeping a journal is super important, and it kind of sounds lame, but I still have my journals from like 7th grade, and it's really just like crazy to go back and read them and just like see where I was at that time of my life and start a journal. Write in it as much as you can. You're gonna love it later on in life.
Yes, I agree. 100%, 10 years later, I agree. If you do not have a journal, friend, what are you doing? I have always loved journaling. The 7th grade journal that I mentioned in this video, I was literally looking through that earlier today. I keep all of my journals. I've been writing my life down for as long as I can possibly remember. 100%, I agree with that. I've fallen off a little bit on my journaling, but there's something about going back. I like to go back to my journal and just see what I was doing on that day. Some of my entries are as simple as me talking about, you know, like who I hung out with that day or what was going on at school. When so much time passes, you almost forget the memory. It feels like a fever dream. And so I definitely agree with documenting your life. If you don't like to write, you can document your life on video. I've always been a fan of documenting my life. I have my journals. I have this video from 10 years ago. I 100% still agree at 29. Start a journal, start a vlog, something, even if it's just for your eyes only. I like to look back on old versions of myself. Also, I think as you get older, as you progress, as you start stepping into the life and the goals that you once, you know, used to dream about, it's so easy to forget how far that you've come. And so having documentation of your old self or who you used to be, I think is a really good reminder that yes, you might not be exactly where you want to be, but you've come so far, and that is cause for celebration.
High school is nothing like the movies. You're not gonna find your soulmate or be the head cheerleader.
I definitely did not find my soulmate in high school. I think it's funny that I brought up head cheerleader. I wanted to do cheer so badly in high school. I ended up not doing cheer because I was body shamed into thinking, you know, I was too fat to do cheer. That's the God honest truth. I don't know. At 19, I guess I had graduated high school like the year before. At this point, high school seems like a fever dream. It feels so far away. I've blocked that part of my life literally out of my memory. I have nothing to say. I don't even remember what high school was like. If you're watching this video and you're in high school, when you're so young, everything feels like the end of the world. And so I don't remember exactly what was going on in high school, but I do remember just the things that I would go through or like the conflicts. It always felt so catastrophic. I remember like anytime somebody would be like, oh, you have to enjoy high school, it's the best years of your life. Even back then I was like, yeah, if high school is the best years of your life, you peaked, babe.
I've learned basic sewing skills, and I know it sounds kind of lame and like old ladyish or whatever, but I can't even tell you how many times I've needed to sew a button back on or hem pants, or it's just a really good skill to have.
I've been a fiber girl since I came out my mom's womb. Ask about me. I have always loved to make things with my hand. That's really interesting to me because I feel like so often or for a long time, I would always say, I don't know what I want. I don't know what my interests are. I don't know much about me. Deep down, you know, like 19-year-old me, she knew what she wanted even if she couldn't articulate it. I think this comes back though to when you're raised in an authoritarian, please correct me, I'm pretty sure that's the word. When you're raised in an authoritarian environment and your identity is literally molded and shifted for you and you are whatever, you know, your authority figures say that you are. It was very difficult for me to find my identity outside of that. So now that I'm older and I can make my own decisions and I have autonomy over myself, I think it's interesting to see what activities I choose for myself that were also interests I had as a child, even if I was unable to like explore them fully. I don't know if that makes sense. I think it's really crazy that I was literally I've been into fiber arts for as long as I can remember. I was a super creative kid. I've always loved to make clothes and fabric and textures. I was born to be a fiber artist for sure.
Being obnoxious isn't gonna get the boy you like to like you back.
I don't even know what to say. Why am I talking about boys so much? Before I realized I was a lesbian, I never had like a super boy crazy phase. I think I can name on one hand, like literally from preschool, elementary to when I came out, I think I can name like on less than one hand every boy that like I kind of maybe had a crush on. I think it's funny that I bring this up. Gosh, I was so closeted. I literally had no idea. In hindsight, when I look back, I'm like, okay, there were low-key hella signals, but at 19, I thought I was straight AF. I posted on my story the other week about celebrating my gay anniversary because it's coming up, and somebody's friend, really quick friend, if you see this video, it's no hate, it's only love. Thank you so much for messaging me and sharing your perspective. I love when my fiber friends message me and you share your perspective. You don't have to agree with everything that I say. This is a safe space for all of us to express ourselves respectfully. So if you see this, please, I hope you don't take this as offense. I really do not mean this. I do not mean this to be offensive at all. I love receiving DMs. I respond to all of my messages, but I have to put a really quick disclaimer. But on my stories, I had mentioned like celebrating my gay anniversary since it was coming up, and they had responded like, oh, like what's your gay anniversary? I was explaining what it meant to me and how I celebrate mine kind of like around the time, you know, that I had come out and I had like realized. And they were like, okay, that's cool. I guess I just never thought of it because there was never a time, that I thought that I was straight. There was never a time that I considered that could be straight. And I thought about that and I was like, oh my goodness, I was like, I'm kind of jealous of you. That's a privilege for sure. There was a time where that was the only thing that I could be. You feel me? That was the only thing that I could be and still be safe. And I was like, I can't even imagine. Like at 19, there was no way in hell there was no way I was gonna know that I was gay, even though the signs were banging me upside the head. I was not in an environment. I was not raised, to ever feel comfortable, like being gay, being a lesbian, and so me talking about boys always kind of like causes that reaction from me. But I dated men for a majority of my dating history because, like for a long time, it wasn't safe for me to be gay. So that's kind of crazy. I don't know. I hope I don't bring up boys anymore in this, honestly. Like, I'm kind of sick about it. And also, I think it's really crazy that I brought up boys because at this point, I literally had never even dated anybody. Like, I was the Christian girl at school. I had no dating experience until, like my early 20s.
Don't be friends with someone who always agrees with you. You aren't always right, and you need friends who aren't afraid to tell you that.
I said that with so much conviction too. Don't be friends with people who think you're always right because you're not always right. You're not always right. You're not always right. I'm not always right. I love my friends down because I know that if I am on some BS, they're going to call me out on it 100%. I agree with that. This is probably the one that I agree with the most. I know a lot of people have difficulties being held accountable for their behaviors, but I think the mark of a good friend is someone who can tell you lovingly, like, hey girl, that ain't it. You don't want to surround yourself with yes men for sure. I agree with that. 10 years later, 100% I agree. This is probably the one that I agree with the most.
I've learned how to parallel park, and it seems kind of small and silly, but living in LA is definitely a necessary skill, and surprisingly, a lot of people don't know how to do it.
The first thing I'm thinking of are those clips of Joe Jonas trying to parallel park his car for like 25 minutes. That is so funny. I learned parallel parking actually from a YouTube video, if you can believe it. One time I went to my friend's house and we literally just watched videos on how to parallel park for hours. And every time I'm like backing into a space, I can see the video in my head and I think, okay, like the car has to be here, the mirror has to be here. That's really funny. That's actually my biggest flex is that I can parallel park on the first try too.
Nobody is where they want to be in life at 19, so there's no use in me beating myself up for not being exactly where I want to be in my life. This is all a process, it's a journey, and hopefully I have many more years ahead.
No one is where they want to be at 19, babe. What if I told you that no one is where they want to be at 29? But that's the thing. I'm not where I want to be at 29. But it's not because I haven't accomplished anything. Because looking back on my life, looking back on the last 10 years, 29-year-old me compared to 19-year-old me, if 19-year-old me could watch this video right now, she'd be gagged. She'd be so impressed. She'd think I was so cool. She would think my life is so together. At 29, I think that that's something that you have to remember and know for the rest of your life, because I think even the goals that I have right now, once I reach them, I know that there's going to be a time where I'm like, oh, I'm still not where I want to be, but I'm going to look back and think, like there was a time where this was all that you wanted, and now that you have it, you still want more. And not that that's necessarily bad. If you're not always growing or striving, friend, you're wasting your time. As you grow, you raise your standards for yourself. So maybe there was a time where my only standard was to move out of my child home and finish school. But it's like now that I've accomplished that, I'm not where I want to be because my goals are bigger, they're larger than what they used to be. That brings me back to the point of wanting to be present. I think more than anything, that reminds me that we're going to be doing this life thing for a long time if we're lucky. You can't bully and beat yourself into being the ideal version of you in your head, because that version is always changing. The goalpost is always moving. And so to be upset at yourself for not being where you want to be, I feel like a lot of times it diminishes the progress that you've already made. I do agree that nobody has their life together at 19. even if it seems like maybe they do. But 29, I guess, is not really too much different. Where did the sprinkles come from? Okay, so that's the end of the video. 19 things I've learned at 19. Wow. It was really interesting to watch that video and see how so many of the things that I said I still agree with now. Friend, there was no way I was going to come up with 29 things I learned at 29. So since I've already come up with 19, I thought I would share 10 more, and I guess that will make up the 29. I can't control the life I was given, but the life I end up with, that's all on me. I heard that saying very recently, and it's shaken me to my core, really. I think especially since now that I'm getting older and I'm moving on to the next phase of my life, my childhood issues and the things that I had used for so long to justify maybe certain behaviors or why I am the way that I am. As time passes, as I get older, I'm getting further removed from those things, and so it's a good reminder to self that we can only use the things that happened to us as excuses for so long before you fall into that victim mindset. More than anything, I want to use the things that happened to me in the past as fuel to go forward, as fuel to change my life, like as fuel to accomplish the things that I want to, and to change my path in a positive way. I want to look back and think, this is where I started. The odds were against me. The cards were not in my favor, but this is where I ended up because of my grit, because of my discipline, because winner is just who I am inherently. I don't want to live my life as a victim of what happened to me. Whole foods and exercise will solve a lot of your problems. Definitely. Especially if you're like me and you didn't do any sports growing up and exercise and healthy eating was not encouraged. That's something that you have to learn as an adult. Even in this video, when I watched this video, I'm easily like 40, 50 pounds heavier than I am. That's crazy. That's definitely something that's a value of mine that I've had to learn in adulthood because it was not ingrained in me as a child. And I think when you grow up, at least for me for a really long time, I had no idea that this is how people live. Like, y'all exercise every day. We're eating, like we're eating whole foods every day. We stop eating when we're not hungry. That's something that I've had to learn, but it's changed my life literally in such a monumental way, in a way that I can't even express it. I never talk about like healthy eating or like weight loss or anything because I don't know, some people get super weird about that, and that's not really something that I want to be known for. But if anybody's interested in hearing my story, or if, I don't know, like I had an Ed Sheeran for a little bit, if that's something that you want me to talk about, I will. Exercise and cleaning up your diet is something that has changed my life literally so significantly, but then that's also something that I wasn't able to tackle until I moved away from my family. You have to train people how to treat you, 100%. If you allow goofiness, people are gonna goofy all over you. Absolutely not. Number 4 is kind of similar. Your boundaries are non-negotiable and should be treated as such. Like I said, if you let people act goofy and weird towards you, everybody who comes by you is gonna be like, oh, Kennedy, she let weird slide, so I'm gonna be goofy and weird on her. Absolutely not. Getting older and being more sure of myself and learning more about myself has allowed me to develop better boundaries, because I'll keep it 100, friend. For a really long time, I had no boundaries. And that's not even to say that right now my boundaries are so hard, steel, and firm. Like, this is still something that I'm trying to learn. But 100%, if you have no boundaries, babe, everybody's gonna run, skedaddle, trample all over you, and that's the last thing that you need. Especially if you have a kind heart, people can spot that from a mile away, and that's something that I had to learn definitely the hard way. Accept every compliment you're given, even if you don't believe it. Self-deprecating jokes are out. We're leaving that back in 2011 where they came from. We're not doing that no more. When somebody compliments you, oh my gosh, you're so pretty. Friend, it ain't none of that. Oh, me? Oh my God, no, not me today. I look a mess. Thank you. Thank you. You're so kind. I accept that compliment. Thank you. Thank you. You can feel like the ugliest thing on the earth. That don't matter. That don't matter. We're faking it till we make it. I feel like sometimes we don't even realize that it happens. Somebody will give us a compliment. Oh, I love that outfit that you have. Oh, this old thing. It's almost like that's a natural response, but that should not be. How many times do we villainize people who have confidence? That should be your default. Friend, you're so pretty. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Point blank, period. No more of that, oh, this old thing, oh me, you're bomb. Have you not seen yourself in the mirror, friend? Have you not looked in the mirror? Come on now. Come on now. You're that. People are complimenting you because you're that. They can see it. They can feel your aura. So you walking around talking about, oh, this old thing, oh, me, that don't need, stop. Cut it. Cut it out immediately. That's something that I've definitely had to learn. I have been for so long that person like, oh my gosh, why me? Why me? Why not you? It should be you, actually. It should have been you. It should have been you last time. It's gonna be you this time. It's definitely gonna be you next time. We're taking every single compliment. No more self-deprecating. Absolutely not. Give compliments often, definitely. If you see a baddie, if you see somebody who embodies something that you like, if somebody catches your attention, it hurts nothing to say, you know what, friend, you look really nice today. 100% that will make somebody's day. And I feel like just not even as of lately, but definitely as of lately, just in general, the world is so crazy and filled with mean people. Somebody telling you that you look nice, like that can really brighten up your day. I know how I feel when I receive compliments. And so it's like, if I can give somebody else a compliment and make them feel the same way, that's a good thing, right? And I'm not saying lie. If you hate the outfit, you don't have to tell somebody that you like their outfit. But genuinely, when you find beauty in people or you see something in someone that you admire, it hurts no one for you to acknowledge and say that. Especially if you're out in public. I feel like nobody really talks to each other that much in public. We're all kind of in our own world. I have no problem if I see a 10 telling them 100%, friend, you look good. What you don't change, you accept. 100%. There's nothing worse, especially as you get older. Like maybe when you're 19 and 20 and 21, complaining about your circumstances, complaining about your life, we're just going to chop it up to you being young. But once you start being 29, friend, 30, 31, it's no longer cute to keep saying, oh my gosh, I don't like my job, I want to change my career. Okay, well, what are you doing? What are you doing to set yourself up for that? Oh, ain't even trying to hear it. An excuse. Ain't even trying to hear it. An excuse. Oh, I want to get back in the gym and I want to start eating healthier. Okay, so then what are you doing? What are you doing to make that? What actions are you taking to make what you want a reality? Oh, well, I haven't yet. Okay, well, then that's not something that you want. You don't want to change something if you're not going to put any action behind it. Whatever you accept, you have no problem with it. No matter how bad you say you want this to be different, if you don't put any action behind it, you clearly do not have a problem with the way things are going. Being with the wrong person is worse than being alone. When I was cosplaying as a heterosexual, that's something that I really noticed. I think for a long time, that's what kept me in situations and relationships that I clearly knew I was not compatible in. I think so often being single, not having a partner, you're almost like, I don't want to say looked down on, but for lack of a better word, I don't want to say less than either, because that's not necessarily what I'm trying to say. But I think a lot of people cannot conceptualize being single. And because of that, they stay in like the most tragic relationships ever. There's nothing worse than feeling alone and feeling single while you're literally in a whole entire relationship. You don't have to accept your inherited identity. You can be whoever you want to be. I'm still learning about the person that I want to be, about who I want to be as a late bloomer. I think sometimes I get a little bit upset. No, not upset. I think sometimes I feel envious that my peers have a stronger sense of self than I do, but I have to remind myself that we're not starting from the same space. So more than anything, I try to remember that I can be whoever I want to be. And yes, it's going to take some time to be her. I don't have to be what the people in my life expect me to be. I'm allowed to free think. I'm allowed to do what I want to do, even if it doesn't make sense to anyone else. So this is number 10, the last one. That dream you have, the one that keeps you up, it will never go away, so you have to chase it. I mentioned how I love journaling, and so I have documentation of my life literally since I was in 7th grade. And I cannot tell you how many entries, how many video segments, how many times I've said out loud or I've written, I want to be creative. I want to do YouTube. I want to blog. I want to share my life. I want to be online. I want to do this as a living. I've been saying this literally since the beginning of time, since before we had TikTok, babe, since before Instagram really popped off. Like I've been saying this literally since the beginning of the internet, since I found out that this was a way that you can make a living. I've been saying that for over 10 years. And yet in that time, I went to school for something completely different. I've had how many career changes? I've done so many odd and end jobs only to end right back where where I knew I wanted to be 10 years ago. The shortcut is straight to your dreams. You can go around and you can try to ignore it and you can act like it's not there. You can act like you don't hear the call, but when you're asleep and you're laying down and the lights are off and it's cold and it's quiet at night and you're alone with your thoughts, that thing that you want to do, the one that you keep telling yourself that it's too hard, you're undeserving of it, it's going to take you too long, it will never go away. It will gnaw on you and eventually you get to the point where you can't ignore it. That is where I am right now. It has taken me 10 years to get here. The feeling, I think, of seeing myself 10 years ago speak with so much conviction about a lot of beliefs that I still hold today. I don't know, it makes me have a deeper appreciation, I think, for myself. I think I need to give myself more credit. I think I'm a little bit too hard on myself. I think for a long time, the only way I knew how to communicate with myself was through tough love. And when you're like mean or like hard on somebody to try to motivate them, that has kind of been my approach to self for a really long time. But moving into the next decade of my life, I can't do that anymore. I don't want to do that anymore. At 19, I don't remember, I guess, too much from that time, but I do remember being so hard on myself. And now looking back 10 years later, I have so much love and so much empathy for her, for 19-year-old me. She was trying her best and she had no idea what she was stacked up against. Yet she never gave up. I wouldn't be the person that I am sitting here today if it was not for that version of me. I think because of that, it makes me realize that I need to be kinder, I need to be softer to present versions of me, because one day they will be the past version of me. And when I'm 39, looking back on 29-year-old me, I'm sure I'll feel very similar sentiments of admiration and empathy. I think that's the nitty-gritty of what I'm trying to say. I'm knitting my cake. Low-key was not concentrating. I messed up the colors a bit. It's only supposed to be 2 pink in the middle, and I put 4 pink in the middle. My birthday is in 2 days, so I do still have time to finish this knit. I'm gonna finish it, and then I'm gonna include it at the end of the video because it's not a birthday without a birthday cake knit. The inside of the cake, I think, is actually really interesting to look at. And the fact that it's the 2 stitches of the color, like the frosting color in the middle, it kind of raises up the fabric a little bit. Can you see? Like it raises up the fabric. And so I think when I assemble everything all together, this is going to be absolutely like the cutest thing ever. I'm going to work on this a bit. I'm nearly almost done. I think I have to do, because it's going to wrap around like this, and then I have to seam it and then stuff it. So maybe I can finish it like within tonight and tomorrow. So I'm going to work hard to finish it so I can show it because I do want to include this in the video. But yes, I hope this video was insightful. Are there any other fellow 29-year-olds? You know, the running joke is that 29 is not a real age, which I kind of agree with because low-key, I've never met a 29-year-old. I hope this video, I don't know, was inspirational in some type of way. I can't believe I've been on the internet for so long, honestly. I enjoyed watching that video. I can't believe it's been 10 years. 10 years goes by insanely fast. You really don't realize it. When you're a kid and all the adults are like, oh, when you're an adult, it's gonna go by fast. And you're just like, oh my God, girl, shut up. But then you're an adult and it actually goes by fast and you're like, oh my God, girl, shut up. By the time it's posted, I will officially be 29. My last year of my 20s. I'm excited where my life is going to go. I have so many plans and dreams and goals, and I am mentally the strongest that I have ever been, physically the strongest I have ever been, the most determined, the most disciplined. I don't know. I'm excited. We'll do another one. We'll see if YouTube is around in 10 years. It should still be, right? In 10 more years, we'll look back on this video and we'll see how much we've grown since then. Anywhoooo. Thank you, friends, so much for spending time with me. I will see you next Sunday. Bye.